What's going on, boys? We got another UFC breakdown. It's Kyle from SpedBeth. Let's get right into this. First off, join the Discord if you haven't already. It's totally free. Free slips every day. My man Schmoopy, the other half of this, not necessarily a show, this little situation thing we got going on here. He's been doing play of the day for baseball. It's been hitting at an absolutely disgusting rate. He's doing pick'em props, hitting at like a 60 to 70% rate. That's disgusting. Just straight bet it every day. You'll be profitable for the month. If we ever decide to go premium, literally you could pay for that and it will pay for itself. That's just, I don't know what you guys are doing, why you're not in here. If you don't like it, go fucking leave. I don't care. It is what it is, whatever. All right, let's get right into this breakdown right here. We got fucking Bug Eyes versus Rose. All right, first fight I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about all the fights. I'm going to talk about the fights that interest me, fights that I have bets on. At the end, I just have kind of a little recap of all the fights I didn't talk about. Because I'll be honest, there's some real stinkers on here. There's some fights you should not be betting on. But let's be honest, we probably will be betting on them. That's how it goes. First off, we got Darius Flowers. Dude, why are you fighting at Elevation again? He took this fight on 3 days' notice, literally like a couple hours ago, before I'm doing this recording right now. He just took this fight, and I'm thinking, what the fuck is wrong with you? Did you not learn last time? I think he fought on the Gaethje-Poirier card. Dude, you're losing to Jake Matthews, man. You're fucking cooked. I don't know how else to break that to you, man. That guy's scraping in decisions against like Phil Rowe, man. Holy shit. Why would you ever accept a fight on Elevation again? Especially 3 days notice? You're gonna get killed. Whatever. Fucking. I think he's probably gonna end up being like a 4-1 dog, so I'd just fucking stay away from this fight. Don't put any money on this fucking dork. Alright. Next one right here, we got the GOAT, Petrosky versus Josh Fremd. I was a really big fan of when Petrosky knocked himself out and then Malkoun fucking soccer kicked him after he was clearly done fighting. That was fucking sick, dude. That should have me in tears. I love seeing that. There was no need whatsoever for the soccer kick right to the liver, but dude, that shit was fucking awesome, alright? That soccer kick was for GM3, alright? Representing Milwaukee. He beat Petrosky, got robbed, and that kick right there was a little redemption for him. But anyways, this fight, I mean, if you're betting on this fight, like I said, this is one of the ones where you got problems if you're trying to bet on this fight, alright? That Josh Fremd is terrible. Dude struggled with Jamie Pickett, alright? He could not take down Jamie fucking Pickett. I mean, neither could Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel had to cheat to take him down. I don't know if you guys remember that, but hey, it is what it is. Basically the gist of this fight, it's just super low level. I mean, Petrosky, he's like a fucking bodybuilder. This guy's been doing grappling matches at like 225 pounds and just kind of beating the shit out of these guys in the grappling. I mean, Josh Fremd is 6'4". He's a huge guy for the weight class, but so is Petrosky. This guy's like pure muscle, basically a fucking bodybuilder. I don't know if that's the archetype that's necessarily built for elevation fighting. I guess we'll find out how he's looking in the third. Kind of gassed out against GM3 and then got his ass kicked, but it is what it is. The real lean here is probably Petrosky. I think if there's any finishing equity, I know he has no chin. Dude, Josh Fremd is not knocking this guy out. If Josh Fremd knocks this guy out, I'm never betting against him again because Fremd's the GOAT, alright? But I just don't see it. I think the finishing equity is all on Petrosky. I think he can squeak out the first 2 rounds and survive the third like he did against GM. I keep bringing up that fight. That fight fucking sucked. But yeah, I think he can survive in the third, even if he is completely gassed out. I don't think he can get finished. He might hold Fremd against the cage, or Fremd might hold him against the cage. My only real worry is just the fact that Fremd trains at Elevation, so he's maybe a little bit more equipped, but I've never been super high on his cardio. I don't think that his cardio looks that great normally, so maybe he'll just look the same. Guess we'll find out. Super low level fight. Do not bet this fight, man. Alright, here we go. We got Maria Agapova versus Luana Santos. This chick is just fucking homeless, doing drugs. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. You can't be picked in a fight when you're talking about that kind of stuff, man. I'm not even going to say that. I'm probably going to get, not that I can even get demonetized. We're not making shit off this. It's just for fun, but holy fuck. Here we go. Let's look at it a little bit better. This is Luana Santos squaring off against Clay Guida here. That was a pretty good fight. Pretty good scrap. First round knockout for Luana Santos. That's a real way to come into the UFC. Then she got some kind of disease fighting Stephanie Egger. I don't remember what the exact disease is called. I was reading something about it. apparently she was gaining weight when she was trying to cut weight during camps. She just had a horrible weight cut, and that's why she missed weight at 135 when she's normally a 125er. But she seems to be in shape on her Instagram and all that. She's training, everything's looking good. She should make weight, no problem. I'm not too concerned about that. Basically, this fight comes down to one thing. Luana Santos can wrestle, and Agapova cannot. Even if she wasn't homeless and doing drugs, and honestly, maybe she's in just that desperate need of her next fix. She might be fighting for her next fix here. All jokes aside, Luana Santos is going to just be like judo throwing her around, tripping her. Talking about bets here, the Prize Picks had her at 1.5 takedowns for a line. That was an absolute steal of a line. I sent that to the Discord the second that it dropped. Literally within an hour of that line dropping, I sent it to the Discord. 3-4 hours later, it was bumped up to 2.0. 2.0, it's still okay. At 1.5, it was an absolute lock in my opinion. Same thing happened with Jillian Robertson last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, sorry. She opened at 1.5. I sent it. We paired that with the free squares. Cashed that. She ended up getting 2 flat, so everyone who took it at 2.0 got a push instead of a win. It's another reason to join up. I'll just send the bets when I see them. I like to think I have a pretty good eye for this. We've been profitable every single weekend for the past 2 months straight, I think. Doing these prop bets, straight bets, everything, man. It is what it is. And then, like I said, fight is simple. Maria cannot defend takedowns to save her life. I think Luana has a lot of finishing equity here. I'm going to pick her by submission, but I could definitely see the fight going long, too, if she doesn't want to finish. I'm probably just going to take her inside the distance on the off chance she wants to get a TKO again, like in her debut. But all right, this fight right here, I got a little bit more in-depth on this fight than I definitely wanted to. We got Jasmine Jasudavicius, and I'll be honest, that's the pick against Fatima Klein here. Jasmine's the pick. I know everyone's super high on this wannabe Blanchfield, training out of the same camp. I'm all over Jasmine here. I think Jasmine's cashed some good tickets for me before. I think against Tracy Cortez, she was kind of stunned by the fact that Tracy had worked on her boxing in the time off. Tracy looked a lot better in that fight than she ever had before. I think Jasmine was prepared for a Russell-heavy game plan out of Tracy, and she just didn't bring that. And I think that was just kind of threw her off. Couldn't get her adjustments going. She's 35, but she got into the fight game super, super late. Probably like 2017, 2018, if I'm not mistaken. So she took her fights, got into the UFC 2021 off the Contender Series. Fatima Klein was also supposed to be on the Contender Series. Dude, I just keep fucking looking at her face, man. I can't. Look at her, man. You can't pick her. You can't pick her. She looks fat. How are you fat at 125 pounds? Actually, that was probably... I don't know. I can't say that for a fact, but I feel like that might have been in her last fight when she was literally at straw weight. How are you fat at straw weight, man? Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's easy to say that she's a 2-time champ in CFFC, and Jasmine is just a person who lost the title challenge in CFFC. She lost to Elise Reed. That's not a terrible loss. I mean, that chick kind of looks like Mark Zuckerberg. She's probably a little bit stunned in there. But let's break this down, all right? Fatima Klein, both of her wins for the titles over there, they were vacant belts. She's never beaten the champion over there. She has 2 belts and has never beaten a champion. All right, the chick that she just beat, Romero, like Andressa Romero or something, that was literally her first fight with the promotion. She was getting a title shot. I think it was off of a loss, too. She lost in a different promotion, then came into CFFC and got a title weight. That's how shallow these divisions are. There's nobody there. She's not fighting good opponents. I mean, the chick was an actual just midget. An atomweight, I think, even. She was losing fights at atomweight and got a strawweight title shot. And then Fatima Klein was a 125er going back down to strawweight. Just a huge size and strength disparity there. I mean, the atomweight didn't really stand a chance. She weighed in her last fight at 105 even. It was kind of a gimme fight against Romero there. I think, I don't have the odds up on my screen, but I'm willing to bet she was like a minus 500, minus 600 favorite going into that one. She has a lot of grappling experience. A lot of people are talking about that, and she's just got this super high level grappling. Then why are you going distance with a 105er? Like, I'm not sold on it. I don't think it's as real as people are saying it is, man. She doesn't have nearly enough submission wins in MMA fights for me to really think that she's going to be able to finish Jasmine, because I think that's her path to victory. Short notice fights at elevation generally don't go well for the short notice fighter. Like I said, she was pulled from the Contender Series. She probably signed that contract like less than 2 weeks ago. She wasn't in camp for that fight in September yet, let's be honest here. She's probably taking a little time off. She's obviously still in the gym, like I said, out of the Blanchfield camp. But there's another thing about that camp. All right, we saw this very, very clearly in Erin Blanchfield versus Manon Fiorot. When the going gets hard, her corner's not afraid to throw the fight, all right? Dude, I think Erin Blanchfield's corner had a lot of money on Manon Fiorot because that was terrible. Erin Blanchfield has to get the fuck out of that camp. Get those people out of her corner. They did not tell her once to shoot a takedown. She was obviously just kind of dazed by the moment. Main event, big crowd, big octagon, everything. She wasn't thinking straight. Her team did not tell her once to shoot a fucking takedown from distance. Like the one time she did it, she had moderate success, got pushed off. Try again. You did it to Tyla Santos. Like, you can remember it there. Why can't you do it here in your biggest opportunity of your life? I think it's good. I think Blanchfield, that's my girl. She would have gotten absolutely pieced up by Alexa Grasso in the title fight if she were to beat Fiorot. So I'm kind of glad that she took a loss here. It wasn't too damaging of a loss. She didn't get finished. I think she'll bounce back pretty hard, hopefully with a new team, but can't say too high hopes for that. I just think Jasmine's kind of a dog here. I think her winning the third round is incredibly likely here, given Fatima Klein will probably try and blow her load early. It's not going to work out. Jasmine's tough. If she comes in here and finishes Jasmine, I will stand corrected and take back everything I've ever said. I don't think the hype's real. I think she's a good prospect. I know she said she's going to go back down to 115 after this. I don't know why. You're already going to get into the UFC. The person you were scheduled to fight on the Contender Series is not good. They're fighting worse opposition than you somehow. Like, you were pretty much guaranteed to get into the UFC. That was a finish waiting to happen. I just don't see the point. Obviously, there's a point in trying. I just don't think you're going to find much success here. The fact that she opened as a 2-1 dog and was a minus 150 favorite for a little bit is just insane. I don't know who's throwing down that kind of money, especially on her as a favorite. Like, what? That's all right. We're going to take Jasmine. We got her at plus 110. I think it's evened out to a pick'em on pretty much all sports books now. And there you go. That's the breakdown for this fight that nobody fucking cares about. Here we go. We got Josh Van versus Charles Johnson. This fight right here is probably my most anticipated fight on the card. I'm really looking forward to this one because the whole world seems to be on Josh Van, hyping him up like he's some top 10 prospect, top 5. I don't know if I agree. I think he's really good. I would not put him anywhere near the rankings right now. And in the flyweight division, which is pretty shallow, that says something. I think he's the future. I'm just not too sure if he's the present, all right? I think Charles Johnson, they need to stop putting this guy as an underdog. The disrespect is insane. He's taking out Azat Maxim. Josh Van would get absolutely... Oh, I can't even say that word on YouTube. He would get destroyed by Azat Maxim. Let's just get that very clear right now. I think he might even... no, Azat's not dangerous. I was going to say he might get finished, but I won't go that far. But he beat Kevin Borjas. Congrats. He beat probably the worst pure striker in the 125 division. Whatever. He beat the last guy. He's like ripping body shots against the cage, and everyone wants to say like, "Oh, he's got the best body shots in the UFC." I mean, he does. He has good body work. I like to see that he's mixing it up. He's got some good boxing. I'll give it to him. His boxing is really good. It's really solid. His takedown defense is a lot to be desired, though. I think Charles Johnson is just the better mixed martial artist, and I think he's gonna mix it up really well here, and he's gonna take Josh Van to deep, deep waters. I just can't see Josh Van getting the edge. I see people picking Josh Van by knockout. Are you kidding me? Charles Johnson has cardio for days. This guy's not gassing out. It doesn't matter if it's elevation or not. I think he's going to be there. They're both going to be there for all 3 rounds. If anything, no, I can't see Charles Johnson getting a finish. Never mind. What am I talking about here? About to get a little crazy and pick Charles Johnson by 3rd round knockout. But I could see this fight being a split decision, being 29-28 for whoever wins, almost certainly. It's a little interesting. Neither of them win the first round in like any of their fights. They're both comeback from behind fighters. So it'll be a little interesting to see how they do in the first round. I think that's what could lead it to be a split decision because they both don't do a whole lot. So it's just going to be who's going to do a little bit more. Charles Johnson, he's also the prospect hunter. Christian Rodriguez likes to think he's the prospect hunter. Dude, I think Charles Johnson is. This guy's like sifting through his fight offers, just waiting for an up-and-comer to come get some. And then he's going to pull through as an underdog. He cashed out huge for us against Jake Hadley. I don't know if you want to consider Jake Hadley a prospect, but I kind of did, and then we picked Charles Johnson by decision. Hit for us huge. I'm sad to say I did not pick him against Maxim, but I don't think anyone was. I just want to put this out there. Josh Van is a midget. Just matter of fact, I think dude belongs in the men's atomweight division, which doesn't exist, so he's stuck here. I just think he's so small, man. He's like my little brother. Like, I don't know. I can't pick a guy. He is pretty decent at closing distance, but I think Charles Johnson, if we get the Charles Johnson that's not afraid to let his hands go, I think he's going to piece Josh Van up. I just don't see Josh Van keeping this as competitive as everyone thinks that he's going to. Christian Rodriguez. We fucking meet again. I hate this guy. Alright, I want to say, first and foremost, I fucking hate this guy. My least favorite fighter in the whole UFC. Can't make weight to save his life. He's a disgrace to the sport. Ran into a couple of his boys from his corner, from his team, something. I was a little drunk. We were at the bar. I had some UFC merch on. They came up to me. They were pressing my knowledge a little bit. And they said, yeah, man, we train with C-Rod. You know C-Rod? Pretending like there's some fucking hardcores. I was like, yeah, I know C-Rod. Does C-Rod know how to make weight? And then I'm not going to act like I said that like a little hard ass. I kind of said that as they were walking away because I was really drunk and with my friends. But it is what it is, dude. I don't remember the entire altercation, but I just remember they were a bunch of fucking pussies. So I have some personal beef with C-Rod here. He's also unprofessional. He misses weight all the time. He has like 4 career weight misses. Contender series, misses weight, and they still give him a contract. Not sure what's up with that. Misses weight against Rosas, kills some of Rosas' hype. Misses weight against Simon. I know Talbot put the works on him, so it didn't really end up mattering, but maybe we could have seen Christian Rodriguez getting worked by Talbot. That would have been pretty sick. But then he came in, lost to Isaac Dalgarian. If Isaac Dalgarian's name ended with an OV or an EV, he would have won that fight on the cards every time, 10 times out of 10, but sadly, Dalgarian is not Russian enough to get that nod. Whatever, We'll just keep progressing Christian Rodriguez up to the top until he eventually fights Ilya and gets fucking chinned. Because that's what's going to happen, whatever. Julian Erosa, he presents a unique challenge, but not unique enough to beat C-Rod, I don't think. This guy's been knocked out 7 fucking times. I think C-Rod's just going to be stinging him from the outside for the whole time. He's not like a one punch and done kind of guy. But I think he can accumulate enough damage throughout the first, second, and into the third round, get a late knockout here. Julian Erosa's striking defense is just so bad. He's just not aware. I don't know, maybe it's just too many fights, too much damage. He's just not keeping his hands up. He's not protecting himself properly, and I think C-Rod is just going to tag him up a bunch of times. Julian Erosa is probably going to try and get this fight to the ground. His over 1.5 takedowns is pretty heavily favored. Honestly, I don't think he gets that. I'm going to take a shot on the under 1.5 takedowns for Julian Erosa. I think C-Rod's going to stuff him. I know in the previous fights against like Rosas, he was just getting dominated, and obviously against Dalgarian, he got taken down a lot. But I think he's going to be able to stuff those. I think he's going to be able to piece him up, work from the range. And I think he'll find a TKO late in the fight, probably late second, early third round. These are the last fights on the card. These are just not fights that I'm going to go too deep into. I don't have a whole lot to say. I try and make these a little bit entertaining, not necessarily funny, but at least bring a little bit of life to the fights, because this card sucks, man. I'll be honest, this card's terrible. If you're paying to go to this event, I feel sorry for you. The Bonfim fight, I'm just going to give you quick picks here. Bonfim, I got him by decision. I don't think Angelusa's going to get finished against Bonfim. He's never been finished. Brian Battle fight, whatever. Doesn't really matter. He's a quitter. It is what it is. Gabriel Bonfim, I think he's the real deal. Losing with Nicholas Dalby, it's not a fraud check. It just showed that he didn't have much cardio. He dumped his load a little too early. Then Dalby's out here arguably beating Renat, so it's not a bad loss whatsoever. If Dalby's going to be your one loss for a while, I think that's a very good loss to have. I'm going to take Bonfim by decision. We got Drew Dober versus Gene Silva. I was really high on Drew Dober against Mike Davis for obvious reasons. Now Gene Silva's coming in and presents a little bit of a weird challenge for him. Obviously, Gene Silva fighting 2 weeks ago. I think the move to 155 is not going to be everything that he thinks it's going to be. I mean, this guy's on like the podcast with Moicano and Matty Betts talking about put the house on me. Dude, I feel like every time I see fighters say shit like that, they just lose. Like I've never seen, I don't know. I've seen fighters bet on themselves and lose and shit like that. It's just, I can't trust him. I can't trust him. Drew Dober, he was preparing for Mike Davis, so he's probably got a little bit of that anger left from the camp that he's been waiting to take out. Gene Silva, if he close your eyes enough, he might be the right complexion for Drew Dober to get just phenomenal knockout here. Drew Dober's also been talking in interviews I've seen. He's saying he doesn't really care about his knockout record at lightweight. Like, he's tied with Dustin right now for the most lightweight knockouts. He's saying he doesn't care. The record doesn't mean anything to him. Once he gets there and they want to tell him, then that's fine, but he doesn't care. He's not chasing it. I think in his last fight, he was taking down Moicano, which, bold move. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a very bold move to take down Moicano when you don't have a good ground game whatsoever. But I honestly think it'd be smart for Drew Dober to rustle Gene Silva here. Drew Dober training at elevation. I think it'd be very smart for him to rustle Gene Silva, tire him out, just be heavy on top for that first round, and then just tee off on him in the second. I'm going to pick Drew Dober by a late knockout again, but I could easily see this fight going to decision. I know it's kind of a bold call calling Drew Dober to Russell, but like I said, no bet on this fight. I'm not touching it. They could just walk to the center, point at the ground, and start slugging. But I think Drew Dober is going to find a success in the wrestling here, the grappling. Might hold him against the cage. I think he's going to try and wear Gene Silva out to take some of that sting away from his shots, because we just saw in his last fight, he put Charles Jourdain away. That was a tough loss to watch if you were a Charles Jourdain fan. Luckily, I'm not, so I can laugh, but holy shit, he was out. Then we got the co-main here that should probably not be the co-main. Maybe they know that it's a double retirement fight, and that's why. That's the only thing I can think of. Ponzinibbio, this guy was once a pretty good prospect, then he got that blood disease, had to sit out for a while. I think it was a blood disease. It was some kind of disease that he had to sit out for. Came back, Leach tuned him up, was never the same. Muslim Salikov, these guys are both Leach victims, I'm pretty sure. It's kind of funny. Muslim Salikov just took a fat knockout loss to Randy Brown. I know that was 4 or 5 months ago, but when you're 40 years old, that is not the kind of loss you want to come back even probably in the same 12 months in. That was a terrible loss. He just got smoked. Randy Brown looked absolutely huge in that fight. I think I had bet Randy Brown by decision, and when I saw him step in the octagon, I was like, holy fuck, I messed up. But I think Ponzinibbio is just the better striker. I think he's a little bit quicker, a little bit more technical. I think he can avoid those spin kicks that Salikov is inevitably going to throw. I think he can wear on him for a few rounds. I feel like I'm calling this a lot for the card, but I can see a late knockout, a third-round knockout. It doesn't have anything to do with the cardio necessarily. I'm not calling for him to gas out. I just think that Santiago is kind of a accumulation of damage type of guy. But this fight could easily go to decision. I think the official pick is going to be Ponzinibbio by decision. For any bets on this fight, I like Santiago's over on the 50 significant strikes on Prize Picks. The line's probably bumped up a little bit now, but I think that's a very good line. He's high output. Muslim is not. If Underdog has the bet where you can bet the disparity between their significant strikes, if Santiago is around the 10 mark, I think you take that every day. I think he's going to outstrike Salikov for 3 or 4 rounds and win the decision very clearly. Then the main event here, I'm not going to spend any time in this one because I'm not doing tape study on Rose Namajunas and Tracy Cortez. This fight's going the distance. Rose is better everywhere the fight goes. Rose is going to win by decision. I see people betting Tracy Cortez. There's this one fucking idiot that I get on my feed every once in a while. The MMA betting mastermind, I think his name is. No shade. Honestly, no shade. I call him a fucking idiot, but no shade. I respect anyone that's posting their bets online beforehand, even if they're losing at a consistent clip every single week. I do. I saw that guy put a video out. I didn't really watch it. I should probably go watch it to see what his reasoning is, but he's got 5 units on Tracy Cortez. And I think I am subscribed to that guy, so I get his like thumbnails in my feed every once in a while. He's been getting cooked. I don't know why you put 5 units on Tracy Cortez. What are you doing? There's better underdog spots on this card, man, but teach their own. And I think we have one more here. Yep. This is my Prize Pick slip. These are my 4 most confidence. I flexed it because you can never be too safe, really. You want to break these into 2-mans, you do not have to flex those because obviously I don't think you can. I like Luana Santos. The original line I had picked out for her was 1.5 takedowns. But the thing about, it's at 2.0 now. The thing about 2.0 is I don't think she needs 3 takedowns to finish Maria Agapova. I think when she takes her down, she's not getting back up. So my official call was like a 2nd round submission. I don't think she's going to need 3 takedowns unless Maria is getting up against the cage and then she just gets mat returned. That's a possibility. But I like her fantasy score. I think she's going to get some sick control. She's going to take her down a couple times. Going to get that finish nice and early. I like that fantasy score a lot. Christian Rodriguez, same thing. I know it's like plus 300, so it's not a very common call that you're hearing, but I'm calling C-Rod by knockout. I think 88.5 fantasy score is way too low. He's going to be stuffing takedowns on Prize Picks. You get points. I think it's 3 points for every takedown denial. If Arosas wants to win this fight, he's going to be shooting takedowns. I think C-Rod can stuff those, keep it on the feet, tune him up. Josh Fremd, more than 11.5 fight time. Now this one, at first when I saw this, I was like, oh, that's an easy under. Petrosky's getting chinned. But as I'm watching these Josh Fremd fights on tape, he doesn't have that sting, man. He just doesn't. I don't think that he's going to touch Petrosky's chin. Maybe Petrosky knocks himself out again. That'd be kind of awesome, but I just don't see it. I think this fight's going long. 2 big, heavy guys just fucking laying on each other, just the way I like it. Then Fatima Klein, I think she's going to be too small to take down Jasmine consistently after that first round, especially. The elevation starts getting to her. I think Jasmine can stuff some of those takedowns, keep it on the feet. Her striking isn't great, but I think Jasmine's striking isn't very great either. So I think they're going to be on the feet, trading. I can see them each ending with like 60, 70, 80 significant strikes if it stays on the feet the way that I'm thinking it will. But obviously, if she gets the takedowns and just lays on Jasmine for 15 minutes, this line isn't going to hit. It's my most kind of, not scared of, what am I saying? Most iffy line. The line where if you wanted to just run a 3-man, you could leave this one out easily. And I'd be all right with that. I think that's a great slip still. If you want to run 2-mans, my 2 favorites on here is probably C-Rod Fantasy and Josh Fremd over. If it's for some reason goes back down to 1.5 for Luana Santos, you got to hammer that line. She's not really a 1 takedown and done kind of girl. I think it's going to take her 2. And yeah, without further ado, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Probably bring you guys a betting recap for this card. This card can go very, 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 very well for us or very, very poorly. If you want all the official bets, the official picks, we got underdog slips, more prize pick slips. We'll have better slips as the lines get dropped throughout the week. All that's in the Discord, totally free. Join up, come say what's up, chill, hang out, talk about the fights, whatever. We're doing all sports. We got baseball. We got this guy in there sending soccer. He's not an official capper for us per se, but he's sending out soccer bets to us. It's pretty fun. I'm having a good time with this betting right now. When NFL and NHL come back, you're going to want to be in there. We're going to be hitting like crazy in those sports. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.